Well, hello and welcome back. It's been, I think, only at least a few weeks since my last video, so I'm getting better, but I did have finals and stuff, so I was super busy actually. I decided to do like a reading wrap up, which is really gonna end up being like a whole year reading wrap up because I haven't talked about any books in a video this year, and I really only started reading again this semester. I also only really started keeping track of where I was reading this last semester, and I think it really is due to the fact that I didn't work a job during this semester, so I had this novel idea of free time. I actually had some free time, so I was able to, do things I was interested in. What a concept. So this is really going to be super quick. I'm not going to get super detailed about a majority of the books because I just want this to be a quick little thing, and I did end up reading, a little chunk in this last semester. I've got my little Notion, which this is the template that Fictional Fates designed, and then I have just, customized it for my own purposes. Its name is the Jedi Archives, because pretty much everything in my Notion is Star Wars themed in some way, and I thought that was fun. I thought it was cute, or whatever. Also, I don't think I've shown this hair off, but update, I got Mitsuri inspired hair. So I guess let's get started. As we know, I do not have most of these books in person because I am almost exclusively a library reader. I don't like to spend a lot of money on books. I pretty much, for the most part, buy books after I've read the book and it turned out to be like a favorite or something. I love how the gallery view looks so much. It looks so cool. So first one that I kept track of, and then I actually started this towards the beginning of the year because I pre-ordered this when it was originally supposed to come out in 2020, but then they pushed it to the beginning of this year, which is like so crazy to think that so much has happened in the High Republic in just a year. So I started this at the beginning of the year, and I was so busy that I just didn't get to it. So I finally got to it in this second half of the year. This is The Light of the Jedi by Charles Solon. It is the first book in the first adult book in the High Republic multimedia whatever series that they've got going on, which is amazing. I gave it 4 stars. I really loved it. I thought it was really great. I don't remember why I gave it 4 stars instead of 5. I probably had reasons. Maybe it was just because there's so many characters and I really struggle when there's like a lot of characters and a lot of point of views. Like that's hard for me to keep track of everything, and that is like my one complaint with the High Republic. As much as I love having a super diverse and just a lot, to work with, I get lost, and which is why in later ones I'm pretty sure I did remember to like write my thoughts down and write things down so I can go back and remember things, because otherwise I will not. I will be lost. And then I read, of course, the middle grade book, A Test of Courage by Justina Ireland. I gave that guy 4 stars. What was I talking about? Oh, A Test of Courage. It introduces us to some of our younger members of the Jedi Order, including the youngest person to ever be knighted, and that is Vern, or Vernestra, as she prefers. And she's super cool and has a lightsaber that's a whip. And yeah, I'm going to keep it simple because we've got like a good almost 20 books to get through. And then I read Star Wars The Clone Wars, Stories of Light and Dark, and I gave that a 1 star. It's by various authors. And I thought, like, even though it's going to be for a younger audience, it'd be, like, pretty cool because they, like, go over episodes, but from a certain person's point of view. Except nobody added anything. It is just going through the episodes almost word for word. And even though we're specifically from a certain character's point of view, they didn't add anything. It was just repeating the episodes, and it was so boring. I just sped through it and it was terrible. And then I read Lost Stars by Claudia Gray, and I gave that one 4 stars. I don't think I enjoyed it as much as everyone else did. It is still a really good book, but I don't understand the hype behind it that much. Like, it just didn't do it for me. I didn't fall in love with the characters or the cross-lover stuff as much. I couldn't really believe some of their like motivations. I think someone else said my thoughts best, or like articulated it in the way that, because I suck at words, as you can tell. But yeah, I didn't fall in love with it as much as everyone else, so it got a 4 stars. Then I read Thrawn Ascendancy Chaos Rising by the good old Timothy Zahn in like 3 days because I had a very short amount of time to give it back to the library before I had to leave for college. So I'm going to reread that before I go on to the other in the Ascendancy trilogy because I don't remember anything. I didn't write anything down. At the time I gave it 5 stars, but it needs a reread for me to remember anything. Then I read Into the Dark by Claudia Gray, the next book in the High Republic series, and this is one of their YAs. I gave this one 4 stars. It was very great. It was very fun. I fell in love with Reese Silas. I think I might kin him. I'm still unclear on the whole kinning thing, exactly what it is, but I believe I kin Reese Silas. I believe I can say that. And then over, honestly, the past couple years, I've been very slowly rereading the Rick Riordan, just all of it, the entire thing, all the series. And so I read Titan's Curse. It got another 5 stars. It is my favorite in the Percy Jackson series because it's where Nico gets introduced. And where Talia, I don't actually know how to say her name, but she like has like, you know, she comes alive in the Sea of Monsters, but like this is her book that she's like in a lot more, so that's why it's always my favorite. And then next was The Rising Storm by, this one's by Cavan, right? This is by Cavan. This is the next one in the High Republic. This is a second adult book. I gave this one a 4 stars. Essentially, like, I think what I'm doing with stars is that, like, my absolute favorites, like, I love them, I loved everything about them, like, all the good things. They get 5 stars, but then really, you know, still really good books and get 4 stars. I think that's what I'm doing with my thoughts. Love having to interpret yourself. But yeah, I have the out-of-print version. And just look at this. This is so cool. And it also came with a tote bag that I use all the time. And then I've actually been decorating the hardcover part of it myself. This is the first side. And then I haven't gotten around to the other side yet. But this is my idea or design for the other side. And I'll probably be doing it in gold and silver. And the out-of-print versions are all signed. So I've got a signed book. That one was also devastating, but I am even more scared for The Fallen Star because that one already looks like it'll be further devastating. So, and then I read the Battle of Labyrinth, of course, by Rick Riordan. I've been like going Star Wars and then a different book just to give myself a break and, you know, switch things up constantly. I love the Battle of Labyrinth, gave it 4 stars. I love a good reread. Then I read Race to Crash Point Tower by Daniel Jose Older. Another good read, another 4 stars. I loved Ram Jaramaram. I don't know if that's how you're saying his name, but it's just a name that just, you can just keep going. It sounds great. I really love it. Ram Jaramaram. I can't get over how just really good that name is. Really fun to say. It also has Vernes Dragon and some other characters. It is set concurrently with the Rising Storm. It's just like these guys. You're following these guys during the Rising Storm instead of the people that you followed in here. And then I read The Edge of Balance, which is the manga series that's going along with Star Wars The High Republic. It is by Justina Ireland and Shima Shinya, and it illustrated by Mizuki Sakakibara. I loved it. It's really good. I get why everyone freaking loves Stellan in the Rising Storm because he's hot in this. Oh, there it is. I mean, look at him. Look at that guy. Can't tell me he's not hot. I gave it 4 stars. It was really good. It was, of course, a very quick read. Manga usually is. That is the one weird thing about it. You don't read it like usual manga. You read it the American or English way, which is awkward after reading a bunch of manga. Excited to see where this goes in the next issue, in next year. Then I read, which I think it is my favorite of the year. It was so good. So originally I bought just pre-ordered the Amazon version because RuPaul's Pod Race and a bunch of others were like super hyping this up. I went and like, you know, followed the author and she seems really great. I mean, everything that they also like talked about, and because they did a lot of other explanations about their thoughts and how they went into this, etc., and designing this and all kinds of parts of this book. But yeah, it hyped me up, so I did pre-order like the normal Amazon version, but then after reading it and falling in love with it and thinking it was like the most amazing thing that I've read in a while, I had to go and get a fancy version. This is from Goldsboro's Books, and oh, it's sliding off, but yeah. It's a fancy version. They have covered the jacket with sort of protective stuff. It's got sprayed edges, and it is signed. But yeah, this one is absolutely amazing, and I could not recommend it enough. It's a beautiful book. Like, it reads beautifully. The words are beautiful. It's like as pretty as like Song of the, well, I haven't read that one, but like I did read Circe. It's pretty like that. It's pretty like those books. The aesthetics in it are really great, and the story's really great, and it is a real story of redemption. Like, redemption actually happens instead of just them dying. No, it really is like if Anakin actually went through, regretted what he did, and, you know, had to redeem himself truly. It's a continuation of the short film from one of the Star Wars Visions things. It's the continuation of the duel. So here is our boy the Ronin, or Ronin. I don't know which one is correct. A lot of people say the Ronin, but like, if you would read it in Japanese, wouldn't it be Ronin? Because Ni, or, you know, Ni, or always reads as Ni. I don't know, but whatever one is correct, you know. Sorry, I took a semester of Japanese this year, so I pay attention now, and like, I think about it a lot. Everything about this is amazing. The story, the aesthetics, everything. And then if you want to read more about it, go and follow the author, Emma Mieko Candon, on Twitter, and she has threads that talk all about how she decided the aesthetics and included yokai and other spiritual elements in the story. And it's queer. It's got the gaze, and even more than just the gaze. It's great. Then I finished off the Percy Jackson series with The Last Olympian. That one I gave another 5 stars. I really love it, and I did like squeal again at the last bit. I think we all know what part I'm talking about, like literally the last little bit of the book. And then I read Out of the Shadows by Justina Ireland, which is the next YA book in the High Republic. I believe, what is it? Phase 2? I never know if it's a phase or a wave. I believe it's... I gave that one 4 stars. This one has even more lesbians, and it's great. And we get a little more of, like, I don't know, is this gonna like connect to the Skywalkers of the Chiss Ascendancy? I want to know. It seems really cool. There's, you know, there's just more stuff about hyperspace, navigation through the Force and stuff, and I just find that very intriguing. And then I listened to Tempest Runner by Cavan Scott, which is their next Star Wars next or latest audio drama, but this one is for the High Republic and all about my favorite nihil. I always said nihil at first, but I guess it's nihil, because I thought it was like after nihilism, unless it's actually pronounced nihilism. Well, then I've been pronouncing it wrong this entire time. Whatever. But it's our favorite Tempest runner, Lorna D. And I think the best way to describe this, in my feelings on this, is that yes, I support women's rights, but I also support women's wrongs. Because yes, Lorna D is terrible, and then she did bad things, but like sometimes you gotta support it, and it makes a great villain. And then I also, on the recommendation of the author of Ronin, I read The Haunted Bookstore, Volume 1, which is also my first journey into light novels. I'm not sure I vibe right with my light novels, or at least this one read a lot like a manga, and I don't think it worked for like novel-y or book form, or I just don't vibe with it enough. Like, it's a really cool concept. It's like this girl that's been raised in the world of the yokai and stuff, and working in a library, and raised by the person or the yokai that owns the library. So there's like a lot of potential for some like really cool stuff with spirits and stuff, but I think it just misses the mark, unfortunately. So yeah, I give it 3 stars. It's not like horribly bad, but I don't think I'll read further with this series, unfortunately. And to further discuss some manga, etc. Some of these I didn't mark down that I read, but I did read them. I'm pretty sure I read all of Chainsaw Man at some point this year. I only own volume 3, but like I have like the subscription to the website Viz or whatever, so pretty sure I read the entire thing this year. Could have been last year. I'm not sure when I read it, but I did at some point. I also started reading Spy X Family, however you say it, but I read some of that. I have a couple of volumes, but I'm too lazy to go grab them. I read volume 1 of Horimiya, and I also did watch that anime. Really great. I've probably read some other random ones and started reading some stuff, as always. Kept up to date with Blue Exorcist as much as possible. You know, I own all the volumes of that. I did also recently read volume 1 of Sweat and Soap. This is good. I did enjoy it. It's a little bit of really weird concept and awkward at times, but like it makes it fun and cringy. Just a little bit cringe. And it's like, I don't know. It's not as perverted as a lot of the other things are made to be, which is like one of the major issues I have with a lot of manga and anime. But this one, it's sweeter. And it's actually funny. Because a lot of that stuff isn't funny, but here it is actually funny, or just like a good cringe instead of a bad cringe. So yeah, I read that, and it's a little bit spicy. We'll see if I think it is supposed to be spicier as we go along, but we'll see. Oh my gosh, I probably can't show it on camera. I don't know, but there's like, when they draw her naked, she just has no nipples. And it's the funniest thing in the world, because like she's completely naked, but it's just blank. It's hilarious. And then, I think I read Wotakoi, Love is Harder for a Taku. I'm pretty sure I read volume 1 some other time, but I did just finally read volume 2, and I just binged volume 3 and 4 last night, but I have those on my iPad and not in person like 1 and 2. I mean, I love it. I love a good, like, adult romance that isn't just completely ridiculous and is super sweet like this. There just isn't a lot of adult content out there. Or, you know what I mean, not adult, but about adults. Because as you get older, I'm sorry, but a lot of the teenager stuff just isn't good. It gets really boring and it's just, ugh. I don't like reading about it. Because even in high school, like some of the typical teenage things or teenage tropes didn't make sense to me, or I didn't like them back then. Because I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, why would you do that? Or why would you care about someone that much? It's high school. So yeah, that's manga, and I think that catches me up on pretty much everything I've read so far. We've got a couple weeks left because it's only the 17th. I am currently slowly making my way through A Brief History of Japan because since I have an extra version of this that's just a plain version, I both want to decorate the hardcovers and I also want to annotate it, but I want to get like a little bit more information, so both through my Japanese classes, etc. And I'm also gonna finish reading this guy, and then I'm hoping to get a hold of a couple of books on yokai too, and maybe read a couple other things before I go in and annotate Ronin. And then I'll also probably start up reading The Red Pyramid of the Kane Chronicles series, which is my favorite Rick Riordan series, and I feel like it's completely underrated. Underrated. Like, I don't think this series is loved as much as it should be. So yeah, those are my current reads, and that's everything I've read this year or expect to probably finish. Like, that's all I wanted to talk about so far. Pretty much what I read in 2021. Solid, so, you know, do all the things. Like the video if you like it. Comment something. Either, I guess, your favorite read. Mine was definitely Ronin. Let me know if your favorite read, or if you read any of these books that I read. You know, something. And subscribe if you would like to see more videos. I'm going to try to do more videos. I do have 6 classes next semester, but we'll see. I'll talk more about that in other videos. And I'll see you soon. But I've got my little notion. Oh, ow. Ram. It is a continuation of the short story of the